Hello, this is Gene. I wanted to talk a little bit about some things I saw in the news and some thoughts that I have on several things. Um, the first one's going to be a very small thing, just something it's just been disturbing me when I keep seeing this guy talk all the time. And I'm talking about Tyron Woodley. He is the UFC welterweight or middleweight? Welterweight, I think. Champion. Before I knew his story, I didn't really know who he was, even though I watch MMA and I know most of the guys on there. Early in his career, I remember he got brutally knocked out by one guy, and he came back and got back himself into the title contention. And a lot of guys in the division didn't really want to fight him because he's a great wrestler, and he also has one-punch knockout. And when he finally got his chance, he fought and beat Robbie Lawler, knocked him out in the first round, and won the title. Then he went on to fight Stephen Thompson, his name is Wonder Boy, and he is pretty much the most whitest person ever. I mean, he clearly is. I'm not going to say he would be the poster child of any type of racist thing or anything. He has high cheekbones, blonde hair, thin, talks well, soft-spoken. Before the first fight, there was this inkling that Tyron had other issues that he wanted to get out. And then you find out more about him. He's from Ferguson, and those who watch my channel know what I think about what happened in Ferguson with Michael Brown. It was a good shoot, and how the left used this Cobb doing his job and created a movement that really is probably the most racist movement around right now. Black Lives Matter is a terrorist organization in my mind, and they're anti-white. So he's from Ferguson, and clearly he's involved with that in some point of that. And all up to the first fight, about 6 months, I think it was, he started talking about how the UFC didn't give him his due, and the reason why other guys got their due is because of basically the color of their skin. Forgetting that the guys that had some of the greatest pay-per-views or the most money, like John Jones and Silva, were black guys. It may be true that McGregor gets the most of anybody, and maybe before that GSP did, and shock horror, they were white people. I don't think it really matters. They're going to promote guys that they think are going to sell tickets. So I just want to bring this up because it almost sounds like that even today, in the last week, they fight this Saturday, he's still saying that the UFC has not supported him at all. I think that what he really wants is affirmative action for UFC black people. And I don't really understand that, because when you're in a fight game, there is no affirmative action. You're one-on-one. What do you want the UFC to do there? And he talks about all these great things he's done, and a lot of great people have done things on him. The red pill tweets, I'll put down some of his videos that when he talks about Tyron, how although he has this stuff, he said, well, no one promoted me, so I promoted myself. And I would think that would be a great thing for him to celebrate and say, you can do it. I came from Ferguson, and I did this on my own. I didn't have anybody to help me. But he's still playing this, and I said she, I think kind of is. He's playing this victim mentality just because he's black, just because he doesn't have the same, quote-unquote, charisma like Conor or some of the other guys that have done well. He doesn't have the charisma of Wonder Boy Thompson. And we have to also understand, too, is that Thompson, he had 4 or 5 fights before he fought for the first time against him. He was beating guys that were ranked very high, guys that had fought for the title before. And whereas Woodley hadn't really done that. And he got his chance against Lawler, and he knocked him out. Good on him. But right after that, he started talking about this stuff, that he doesn't get the same shit that people that are different colors than he gets. But instead of using that as an inspiration in his community, saying, you know what, even though maybe because white people run it, I'm not getting what I do, but I'm on this stuff on the side. You know, he brings up the fact that he's a father all the time, but all of his embedded things at the head of UCF, they don't show the mother at all. So clearly he's not with the mother. And that is a huge problem in the black community. Now, apparently he's a good father. I don't know. He just says it all the time. He says, well, they don't celebrate me because I'm a father. Oh, you know, I'm a guy that is a men's rights advocate, whatever. And I want to celebrate fatherhood, but guys don't have to do that. We don't have to sit there and pat ourselves on the back to say, I'm a father. Well, you should be a fucking father, Tyron, and I'd say it to his face. You know, of course he would kill me. But this victim bad talent, and you wonder why nobody likes him. It's not because, he has no charisma at all. But he's a great athlete. He clearly is the champion for a reason. I thought he won the first fight. I thought it was close. I understand why some people thought that Wonder Boy won. But clearly, this victim mentality, we already get it enough for women in the black community and white community. When alpha males in the black community are going to say they're all victims all the time, what the fuck is next? Are you guys going to just sit there and just complain and complain and complain? Even though you have every opportunity in this country to be where you are right now. Nobody stopped you to be the UFC champion. You had to win the fights to finally get there. You lost some fights early in your career. It took you some time to get to where you were, and when you got there, you won it. Good on you. And don't complain because now the UFC is not promoting you. Their job, Dana White's job, is to put seats in there and people to do the pay-per-view. The idea that you don't understand how to promote a fight by sitting there saying, I'm a victim because I'm a black guy, that's not going to get people to watch the fight. Now, if you're doing this to be active, like Kaepernick did at San Francisco, okay, whatever. I think it's bullshit, and I would tell it to your fucking face that it is, because somehow in this country that is so fucking racist to you, somehow you're the champion, and somehow the white person that was running that didn't stop you from going up there and fighting Lawler. I thought you were going to beat Lawler. Lawler's been hit every time he's fought somebody. You happen to be a guy that had a bigger punch than those other guys. That's the reason why you knocked him out. And before that, Lawler was an average fighter. So, anyway. But this is all part of the same thing, this victim complex. And now, if we're going to say it's just women are always going to be victims, and now black men are going to be victims, they're victims in a sense, yes, because we have vilified them forever. We said that they're a danger to our white women and all that stuff. But at the same time, when somebody has the opportunity and has the athletic ability and went to college, I mean, he went on there and said that he slammed Wonder Boy last night because he didn't go to college. I'm like, oh, so now you're the elite now or something? Anyway, I know it's a very small thing, but it's systemic now, and it seems like it's almost like this whole thing with transgender and other kin, that we have to put yourself different than everybody else. Instead of them saying, I'm going to empower people in my story, and I don't care that, quote unquote, what the white man is doing to me, I'm still going to do what I have to do. And he's using this, I guess, as a fuel to fight this Saturday. And the one thing he's got in his back pocket is the fact that he's got that big punch and he can knock out Wonder Boy at any point. Other than that, he is not the same level of Wonder Boy. But anything can happen in UFC. We know this. You just don't know guys you think that are 6 or 7 time favorite and they get beat. So that's the difference. There is no affirmative action when you're inside the fucking octagon, Woodley. And you need to stop complaining about everything else. Defend your thing. I mean, for years, the best guy, pound for pound, Demetrius Johnson, he wasn't get the same type of pub because he's not selling anybody. But now he went and did his own thing. He's got his own game channel. He's doing his other stuff on the outside, trying to support himself, to promote himself. Guys that are a little different, or guys that have the ability to bring people in, are going to get that anyway. That's like sour grapes, or you're sitting there on the other side of the room saying, God, the guy, everybody loves him. He's so popular. I think something happened to Woodland when he was young. Even though he grew up in a very black neighborhood, I don't think that he was popular, and probably till he got to a point where he was more athletic and stuff. And he says things, and I want to get away from this because, but each time I talk about it, more things that he said. He talking about, well, yeah. So when somebody calls me, that I speak well, and he looks at that as somebody saying that somebody thinking that way is racist. So if I sit there and say it would be nice that it's great that you can talk well, that we understand what you have to say, because some people in your community, we can't understand anything what they're saying. And some people can't hear what I say either because of my stroke. And it happens with white people in certain parts of the country as well. It's not racist by saying it. And it is kind of a shocking thing sometimes. And this guy's a college-educated guy. And I think he went to Missouri or OU or whatever. But anyway, he's just been indoctrinated in this whole Black Lives Matter. And most guys that are fighters are not like this. Even guys who are liberals, what apparently he is, are not like this. They know when I shut that fucking door, it's man on man, and it's not. I got here because I deserve to be here. And nobody stopped him from having those fights. He lost some fights that took him out of a competition. And then he fought his way back up, and he got in there. So his challenge is just to win the fight and go on from there. And if he wants to be the greatest of all time, fine. He's not yet. So, all right. The other thing I want to talk about is Trump's speech. Overall, I thought it was pretty good. Of course, a lot of people said it was great, and a lot of people on the left liked it. To me, it was no different than anything he's been saying on his entire campaign or whatever. It might not, maybe his tempo was a little bit slower, maybe his voice wasn't as high, but he clearly called out Obama 10 times when he said Obamacare, several times about replacing and stuff. So he was still trashing the legacy of the Obama. And I think at some point he might have said the Affordable Care Act would have probably been better to say, but whatever. He kept saying Obamacare. And as far as what the Democrats did and not standing up, both sides do that, but it's just so shocking when the Democrats continually do it against the military and people that defend this country all the time, or other things. It's just, I don't understand why they do it. But overall, I thought it was fine. But of course, with what happened with the Sessions, it's just it's all just bullshit. Every one of these senators have talked to these ambassadors before, and to make it sound like Sessions did something wrong. What the GOP or what Trump is probably doing that's not smart is that he allowed Sessions to recuse himself. Part of us would like to say stop that. We're not going to do it anymore because we know that leftists, once you give them something, they're going to keep going on with it, and you can't fix it. They're just going to keep further and further and further. It's just crazy what you see online of people that saying, and just people on Facebook saying, "Oh, I can't believe he did this," and all that stuff, and they don't really look into it and figure out that all these senators have these conversations with these ambassadors all the time. They live in Washington, D.C. They're on Capitol Hill all the time, lobbying for Russia. It'd be strange if they didn't have those type of conversations. And when these senators say, "I never did," and then you find out through tweets, "I'm going to go see," I think it was Claire McCaskill, said I never talked to him, and then there's a video of her talking to him. It's like, but you want this guy to lose his job because of this. So anyway, that's about all I had this week. If you have any comments, let me know below. Tell me that I'm a racist about Woodley. Those who actually watch UFC, if you think that my take on him is over the top, it's just one of those things that guys don't really respect other guys that talk like this. He could sit there and say, historically in athletics in the United States, there was some racism. The question is, can he actually prove any of that in the UFC? They have all their other issues that they have with drug testing and letting guys fight that are clearly juiced to the gills, like Brock Lesnar and others. But them being racist is stupid. Like I said, if everybody want to see Woodley fight, just like McGregor or GSP, oh God, they're all white guys. Clearly, it's all white supremacy. Anyway, you have to promote yourself in that realm. You just can't go out there and complain about the majority of people that watch these fights happen to be the majority in this country, which happens to be, oh my God, they're white, and we're the ones who buy the pay-per-views. Look in, go to the stadium and watch it where they fight. It's 80% or more white. The people that buy the fight are around that as well. So it is shocking that maybe they might promote somebody of a similar stature to the other people that are watching, because that's how people work. But in sports, nobody cares, okay? We will root whether you're yellow or brown or black or red or white. We don't care. We want a story, and we want a great fight, and we want somebody to battle from getting knocked out, like Wonder Boy did in that fight. He was almost knocked out. He was almost choked out, and at the end of the day, in a lot of minds, he won that fight. But I gave it to the champion, and even though I didn't like the guy before, I was trying to be as unbiased as possible, and I thought he won the fight. But we're going to run it back, and we'll see what happens. And regardless of what happens, even if he knocks out Wonder Boy, or Wonder Boy knocks him out, it doesn't change that he was a champion, either one of our champions. I just hope that at some point maybe he'll grow up, and I think that's what it is. He talks about he was in a house of 4 bedrooms and there were 13 kids there. Maybe he was not loved enough because there were so many kids there. I don't know what the issue is. They never show his brothers and sisters, ever. They show his kid, but you never see him. Did he leave those people? He never promotes them. He talks about the UFC promoting him. Now, maybe there's more stuff there. And again, if anybody knows the story, please let me know. Because if I was a UFC champion and my brothers and sisters were good people, and I would promote them as much as I could, so they would have the same type of life that I'm going to have. I don't know if he still lives in Ferguson. I know he trains up in Milwaukee, comes back to St. Louis to train. It's just one of those things. And let me tell you why. And I'm rambling now, but I'll try to stop it right here. One of the reasons why it really upset me, because I grew up really close to where he was. Now, he's 20 years younger than me, ish. And I grew up in a very predominantly black area. And back then, we didn't really have a huge amount of crime issues. Most men that were still there, the fathers were still in the black community. And they're working poor, but just lower middle income. We had some issues there, but we didn't care, and we didn't care whether we were racist or whether we were white or black. We were just struggling together, and I had so many friends. Now, of course, this is a white guy saying this. I had so many friends that were white, that were black. More black friends than I had white friends. Playing basketball, playing baseball in the street, that type of thing. And then we moved from there. But it disturbs me that he thinks that whole area there is racist and Fergus is racist, or is it just the fact that their community didn't really solve the issue that it has, and instead they want to play they're the victim all the time. And when a man who's an alpha male, I guess, a champion in a combat sport, sits there and plays the victim, it's too much, and he needs to be called out about it. So hopefully someday I'll see him, and I'll tell it to his face. And of course, it'll probably be on video somewhere, and I'll be called a white supremacist, and then I'll look at my YouTube channel and find out that, oh my God, I'm a white nationalist, when I'm not. I believe in Americans, and I believe those who are legally should have the opportunities, and we need to just help each other. Anyway, that's all I have today. Again, if you want to say any comments, just put it in the comments, or share this, or like it, or do whatever you want. You guys have a good weekend. I'll probably say something after the fight, maybe on Sunday or Monday. I'll do something and say what happened with the fight. Anyway, you guys have a good day. Bye.